Hello, and welcome to Entre Redes, where soccer meets international relations. I'm Sarah, and today we have a special and slightly different episode. It's going to be a shorter, introductory one, a warm up to start our conversation about postcolonialism. Next week, we'll be joined by a very special guest who researches race and literature, and together we dive deeper into this topic. But I didn't want to leave you without any content this week, so I thought, why not start this conversation today? So, what exactly is postcolonialism? When we talk about this topic, it's not just about the period after colonization. Postcolonialism is a field of study that examines the lasting marks left by colonization, marks that are still visible in our world today. It seeks to answer questions like why do former colonies often continue to play a dependent role in the international system? How were colonized cultures silenced or transformed? And how does this still affect identity, politics, the economy, and even sports? A few key thinkers are essential in this discussion. Francis Fanon, who wrote about cultural alienation and the struggle for freedom, Edward Said, with his famous book Orientalism, which explored how the West constructed a stereotypal image of the East, and Gayatri Spivak, who discusses the voices that were silenced through colonization. While theories like realism or liberalism tend to focus on great powers, security, and trade, post-colonialism asks something different. What about the colonized peoples? What place do they occupy in this international system? And how does colonial logic still shape the way the world works today? So, here on Entre Redes, we always make the connection with soccer. And soccer is actually one of the areas where post-colonialism is most visible, even if we don't always notice it. A clear example is how African and Latin American players are often recruited by European clubs at very young ages. Some even call this a kind of new talent trafficking. European clubs often treat African countries, for example, as gold mines of raw talent. But this flow doesn't generate equivalent returns for those countries, not in infrastructure, local investment, or development. It mirrors the colonial logic of exploitation, hierarchy, and dependency. And another important aspect is identity. National teams often carry the weight of colonial histories. Take France, for example, the 2018 World Cup champions. More than half of the players on that team were of African immigrant descent. In other words, the team itself reflects France's colonial past and the blending of identities that comes from it. In its sense, soccer is much more than just a sport. It's a mirror of power dynamics and global hierarchies, exactly what post-colonialism seeks to analyze. And today's episode was just an introduction, a way to open the discussion about post-colonialism. Next week, with our guest, we go deeper into how colonialism continues to shape identities, narratives, and of course, soccer. So consider yourself invited and don't miss it. That's it for today's episode of Entre Redes, mas aí. If you enjoyed it, share it with your friends and send us your feedback. Follow us in Instagram at entreredes.ri and don't forget to follow the podcast here on Spotify too. So now you know that between the nets of soccer and threads of international politics, we meet here because, at the end of the day, the ball also carries power. See you in the next episode of Entre Redes RI. Bye!